Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
I was at a meeting, an event, an Asian event. There must have been at least 200, 300 Asians at that event. And not one of them had less than $250,000 in cash assets. Those people are doing things. Here in West St. Louis County, Arabs had bought up a tract of land. A tract is like 40 blocks square with a big mosque in the center of it. They control everything that goes around in that area. They're doing the same thing in Dearborn, Michigan.
How did they do that?
How did they do it?
Yeah.
They set their mind to say, this is what we're going to do. They sat down, probably had a meeting. That's what they done.
You think
they have a group of Arabs here. They got a group of Arabs here in the St. Louis area that meets every Sunday or periodically, and they have a big tub in the center of the floor. And those business people walk around that tub for a length of time and throw money in it. At the end of it, the person convenes the meeting, points to one and say, you take this and go open up that business at such and such a location. And when you are profitable, pay it back.
Can I just make a comment? And I'm not going against anything that's being said. I agree with mostly everything that's been said. But what I find interesting, and I'm not talking about the brother just got finished talking, but this is a dynamic that I've been confronted with. We talk about these groups who do this and do that and how they're successful in this, but one of the things that people fail to mention is that these groups are very ethnocentric.
Homogenous.
But now this is the point. When I talk about black folks being African-centered, I get heavy resistance.
That's
but yet
right.
Those same people expect us to operate like ethnocentric groups.
That's right.
That's a contradiction.
Exactly.
You can't say we can't be African-centered and then expect us to act like the Chinese and the Koreans, who are heavily ethnocentric. You go to a Chinese restaurant, you don't see no Rastans, no Jamaicans there, and nobody even questions it.
Your country's
Nobody even questions it. Nobody. Is there any diversity in a Chinese restaurant?
No, sir.
Well, I was
anybody else
this
other than Chinese working? So my thing is, if that's the example that we are supposed to be following, then let's not do it halfway. Let's follow it.
Let me give you an example of some blacks that's doing it. Let me give you an example of some black Muslims that's doing it. I was on a show this morning with a brother out of New York, and he was talking to a brother down in Atlanta who's raising cattle and somebody helped me with the word halafa method.
Halal.
Yeah.
Halal. They're providing beef for the markets that this brother has in Brooklyn to target the Muslim market. And they also are doing it in North Carolina. And I gave him the name of a brother who's a trucker out of North Carolina, Brother Benny, because they want to have trucking from Atlanta along the eastern seaboard up into Brooklyn. These brothers are doing it. They've seen an opportunity, and they're doing it based on their recognizable religious affiliation, that being Muslim. Now, Benny is not a Muslim, but they had told me, it don't make no difference. If he can provide us with the service, we will use it. So people come up with these ideas. Just do it.
I agree. But what the brother was saying cannot be minimized in terms of operating from...
Well, see,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because everyone wants to define these young people African-centric. You're supposed to wear this culture. Let's just make money. To all of this culture stuff, all of this, you should give your African heritage and stuff. People don't want to go through that because a lot of people...
Nah, man, I ain't getting down with that.
Me either, brother.
I know that, but hold up. But listen to what we do. But hold on. Listen to what Bianca say. But see, sir, everybody, first of all, it's collective. Everybody does not have to have your African-centric mindset that you have. That's the first thing.
First of all, what does African-centered mindset mean to you?
No, I'm saying the picture of it is that you want me to go to some old tradition.
No,
old
wrong.
That
you don't know your history, brother. That's why you're using those terms.
Hold up.
But you're wrong.
Okay, so
what you just said right now is totally wrong, son.
Okay, so when you say that you want people to be more African-centric, American, me a black American, you say that I'm supposed to want my culture and become more African. What do you mean? And I'm gonna
what I mean by this is I use the example of what is African culture. I have it on my video. Amos Wilson had the best explanation for what African culture is. African culture works in the interest of African people. That's what African culture is.
That's right.
Yeah, but you know what we call African people.
Anybody pointing to some clothing or some food and all of that bullshit, that is not what African culture is.
So
yeah, but
on it.
If I could respectfully reply to that.
Go to any area of technological innovation today.
Food is a part of culture. So if it's not the clothes, it's not the food, what is it then, sir?
That's a cultural expression. That does not represent culture itself. People are culture.
I know, but hold on. People are culture. I mean, everybody's culture. But there's people, there's things of culture that can identify them. The clothes that they wear.
Hold on, Mike.
It's about their ethnicity.
Mike, will you hold on? It ain't about the food, the color, or what you have on the outside. It's what's on the inside. Okay? It's totally what's on the inside. All that other bullshit is just that. That stuff is to make money with. It's what you have on the inside that makes you African. You get me?
Well, he asked me a question. Can I answer it?
So I'm going to ask you, what do I have to inside for you to say, Michael, you're African? What do I have
you
to
love yourself, how you treat yourself, and if you don't go ahead and treat yourself the way the Europeans treat themselves. I think that's
beyond that.
Can I answer that question?
So I love myself.
Can I answer that question? Because it's really simple to answer. Why is it that just by you being who you are, that can't be you being African? Why is it that, so in order for you to be African, you got to put on some dashiki? You got to put a dashiki on. You got to eat some couscous.
I want you to be yourself, Michael, right? And I say I am myself, and I say don't label it. Why are you labeling me African?
Because that's who you are.
Well, I agree with all facts, man. I agree with all facts because when you're trying to change, you're trying to tell.
This is why the kids in the hood and the saggy pants, they're talking just like you, and they're confused, sir.
Blacks in America.
You know what? I don't want to vote. I want to go back to Africa. Should I stay here? So look, most of the drug dealers says I don't want to work for the white man, and they sold drugs. I'm from the hood, bro. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, East Baltimore. I know my people. And I'm saying the same thing. The only thing I'm saying is
a segment of the people.
That stuff.
We have to have you don't know.
All right, so then let me get this straight.
Hang on, let me finish this.
Let me see if I got this right.
What do you mean I don't know?
Let me see if I got this right. I just want to make sure that I'm getting this clear. I just want to make sure I'm getting this clear. So what we're supposed to do is not identify culturally at all. We're just supposed to operate off of money. And we're supposed to operate the same as the Chinese do, the Koreans do, and all of these people who have a ethnocentric culture do. But we're supposed to behave and operate just like them minus culture. All right.
Well, that's what that ain't what he's saying. But
when you come to the young person, they're going to ask you what culture, and you still haven't described it. And you said being myself.
I did describe it to you.
And
you know what? The culture the culture of the people that we call blacks here in America is American culture. They are not Africans. They are Americans.
And you're changing them to Africans, it's not going to work.
No, they are Americans.
Changing them into Africans.
I've watched for 40 years, watched groups try to change black Americans into being, they don't want to be African. Now, some do.
Did they change them into Americans?
What they are is an ethnic market that we don't control.
Our people were what? Did our people sprout out of the ground in America?
I don't care if they came from the sun. They are still Americans. And that's where you waste time trying to convince people out of who they don't want to be.
But
our people historically have always been American?
Speak for yourself, bro.
We're not talking about history. We're talking about in 2013. If you go out and start something tomorrow, you are dealing with black Americans.
Okay.
So let's live in the now.
You're dealing with Africans in America.
No, you're not dealing with no Africans in America. They are black Americans.
What we're hearing.
I mean, I'm getting.
Unless they say they are. Unless they say they are, then they are considered as black Americans.
Was there a slave trade, or does that not exist?
I said in 2013.
No, I'm talking about, was there a slave trade?
We all know
that
the
ever
history.
existed?
Yes, there was. But
so then how is it we not African?
There was also an Italian, but they consider themselves as being Italian American.
When do we
blacks
stop being
in America
African?
consider themselves as being American.
Excuse me. The brother who's not brother. The brother who's talking, Afrocentric brother. This is Robert X. Can I have some way to contact you?
Sure. Are you in the chat room?
No, I'm not in the chat room, but
I'll connect you. I'll connect you. Don't worry.
Okay, excellent. I'm in Chicago, too.
I guess what Malcolm said wasn't true. Like, if you do put chicken, if a cat does have kittens in the oven, those kittens are definitely biscuits.
But you might not want to bite into it, brother. You think those are
definite biscuits?
You might not want to bite into it.
You put a log in water, it becomes a crocodile.
Brother, I don't care what you build, and this is what's really interesting. The brothers in the construction, I can't remember the brother's name, but the brothers in construction, so he knows the relevance of having a proper foundation before you build anything. And for you to espouse that the foundation of African people, which is a very negative one, our foundation should be built on negativity, I guarantee you it will not stand a week. Why is African history so important? Because you can't pick up a computer system and not see African history in it. You would not have the whole notion of mathematics and quantum mechanics, which white scholars today is saying has its direct root in African history. That's why they're outlawing African history.
You know what John Henry Clark said about that?
Let me finish, brother. You can't go to any area of relevance in America and Europe today, from the building trades to the technological apexes, and not find the African origin in it. Those are facts. That's why it's important for African people to know their history, and more importantly, to know the people who stole it and why they stole it.
Well, you know, a few minutes ago you was talking about business, now you're talking about history.
Brother, because they go hand in hand.
Listen, John Henry Clark said blacks built pyramids, but what are they building today? The majority of black people do not want to know about that unless you have it in a school system.
According to what you
Put it in a school
said,
system and teach it to the children.
See,
You have a couple of independent black institutions, just do it that way. You can't put it in public schools.
Africa conveniently, like, are we going to connect with Africa? Or are we not?
No, I thought we were talking about business.
Then don't claim nothing that happened in Africa. Don't claim that.
Don't speak for
I
all
thought you
African
were talking
people,
about
brother.
business.
Don't speak for all African people.
Let me make a point here. Tell me, I like to, Bianchi, this is to you. Tell me why, and Mike, tell me why blacks in America don't want to go ahead and be called African. Because here's the problem that I'm having. You want to go ahead and connect with America, and America don't want you here.
You'll never be an American.
Why do you keep on holding on to a system that don't want you here? They've shown you from today, 2000 to 2013, that they don't want you here. They showed you that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they don't want you here. So why are you still holding on something they don't want you here? Shouldn't you go ahead and have that dual citizenship?
Listen, blacks.
I just don't. That part I don't understand. I can agree with a lot of stuff that was said, but when you go ahead and say you're telling me that I shouldn't have a connection to Africa, I should let those other people keep on having their connection to Africa.
I am not going to be no fucking imitation white person, and I will not spit on my ancestors' memories by claiming to be American. Yeah, they will never get me to claim that shit.
Blacks in America, blacks here in the United States. Blacks here in the United States are United States citizens, man.
The people who espouse that kind of thing are historically ignorant, and they refuse to go back and study the history because they will have to change. They cannot continue to spit out that madness.